dream, I persisted. No way to go back again. I want you to save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. But won't you tell me down and build me up again? Save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. We don't belong together, so I bother. When I surrender to being useless, I am unable to breathe. I can't make out what is real or fancy. No waking up from this dream. I want you to save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. Won't you tell me down and build me up again? Save me from myself.
I am alive with Phil Montez Collins, firefighter paramedic with the Louisville Fire Department. He is back again with me this week by popular demand, I must say. Like you were a hit last week, dude. What the
Hey,
hell?
Happy to hear that. I'm glad you had me back on.
Yeah, man.
Happy to be here. Hey, anything I can do to get my opinion out and talk bullshit, I'm all game.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, we had a good conversation. We didn't get to we just like Phil and I would be at the firehouse and we would start one place and end up somewhere entirely in a different universe by the time it's all over with. But it was always enjoyable conversations, and apparently a lot of you guys liked it last week. So Phil is back, and so I gotta ask you a question. The Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast,
Yes.
she's pulled out of the overall. I believe she still has an opportunity to play or to compete in the team competition.
I think she pulled out competition too.
She pulled out of the team as well.
Yes.
Okay,
If I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Someone had said that she had till the end of the week, but she could have already made that decision. So if she's already made a decision, she's probably out. How you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like it's a personal decision. I know you said something about there was some backlash. I really haven't even kept up with any of the backlash, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's her decision. If she's going through some mental problems, which I understand, that could be a very taxing situation to be in. Like you said, you and I are both former athletes, and any former athlete can attest to this, that sometimes that pressure can be a lot. And I've never made anywhere close to the level that she's playing in. So I can only imagine what kind of pressure she has to deal with. Let alone, who knows what's going on in her personal life. Sure. That's adding up to it, which is none of our business. I know as we as people like to pry, want to know, but I respect her decision personally. I do. Whatever's going on, I hope she's able to deal with it and overcome it, and hopefully she'll be back again to represent for our country. I think she's a phenomenal athlete. I think she carries herself very well. And end of the day, I know that, we all have heard about some of the personal issues, like with her brother and stuff like that has happened in the past. Let's not tell them what else that young lady deals with. Sure. So I pray for her, At the end of the day, that's my opinion of it.
Yeah, I mean, but go ahead.
I was just saying, real quick, while we're on the subject, because I want to get back on to something a little positive. I said to keep y'all doom and gloom. Can we give a shout out to Will Shaner and Lee Kiefer, the two Kentucky Olympians who won gold medal for the country? Can we give a shout out to them?
Nice. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. They get an Alpha Bro shout out for sure. That's Alpha as fuck right there, bringing home the gold, baby.
Right. You got that right. So let's give him, I don't know Will Shaner's background, but I did end up looking up some stuff about Lee Kiefer, and unfortunately, she is a UK student right now. She's in med school at UK.
Well, yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad, man.
But you know what? I'm happy for her. I'm very proud of the young lady. Man. I'm very proud of her. So I want to give a shout out to those two.
Now, what sports were they in, so everybody knows?
Lee Kafer was fencing, and I'm probably saying pronounce her name wrong.
I think that's right.
He was, yeah. Now I was lucky enough to get to watch that when it happened. Okay. And then Will Shane, if I'm not mistaken, he was some type of like shooting competition.
Yes.
I'm not. I don't know the name of it, but it was a shooting competition.
Yeah.
So no, very proud of them. Very proud to see them train to go home to to Kentucky, to the U.S. and to be from Kentucky. That's something to be very proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very awesome. I wasn't even aware, and then a buddy of mine sent me the especially the Will Kiper, because he's a shooter. It's like, dude, this guy's badass, and I'm like, oh shit,
yeah.
So really cool. And I want to circle back to that about viewership being down. Viewership's down like at an all-time low for the Olympics this year. I want to get your opinions on that. But first, about Simone. I agree with everything you said. Like, we don't know what's going on with her life. She's not LeBron James. She's not shooting jump shots. She's not making layups. She's not dunking a basketball. She's actually doing some very high-level, dangerous shit. So, like a downhill skier that's, going 80 miles an hour downhill, if your head ain't right, you could fuck your shit up. And there was a girl, Monique something. She tweeted out in support of Simone because she wasn't mentally in the right place. And she was on the balance beam, and there's a video she reposted the video. It was in the 94 Olympics where she fucking face planted on the balance beam. It looked like it broke her fucking neck.
Wow. I didn't see that.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you Google Simone, it's one of the first stories that come up. This girl comes out in support of her, saying what they do is extremely dangerous. And if your heads ain't right, you could risk death and or permanent injury. It's entirely true. Okay, that's entirely true. No one's going to argue that. I don't even think a Democrat would argue that. Well, they might. Anyway, but here is the other side, and I do believe there's validity to this. She is the pinnacle of women's gymnastics. She is the Tom Brady. She is the LeBron James. God, I'm not even going to use his name because I can't stand that fucker.
The Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Thank you. The GOAT. Tom Brady and Michael Jordan of her sport. They would never back out of an NBA Finals or a Super Bowl because they mentally weren't prepared.
I agree with that. And I can't Brady, but I agree with
is, does this hurt her legacy? And
it depends on who you. It depends on who.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm saying
right.
I believe it's a valid argument.
I believe it is a valid argument when it comes to that particular subject, as far as her image and her legacy. I absolutely think that it could tarnish it, depending on who's looking at it. It's kind of like when you think about I would like to use Muhammad Ali as an example. Okay. And a lot of people have a lot of distaste for Muhammad Ali because of what he stood for, him refusing to serve the country, and but in the day, you gotta look at it like this, and especially coming from a black man myself, he was fighting during a time when race relations in the country were pretty bad. Yes. He came back to his own hometown and was refused a restaurant because he wasn't white, So, it depends on who you look at. You look at a lot of people, and let's bring race into a lot of Caucasians aren't very fond of him.
Right.
It depends on who you look at. A lot of black people have a tremendous amount of respect because he did something, he stood up for something, and he lost a lot because of what he stood up for.
Sure.
And went to jail for it. Yeah, he lost his title, went to jail. He risked a lot losing, and A lot of people don't agree with it, and I love this country. I respect it. My grandfather was a Vietnam veteran, so I have tremendous amount of respect for my grandfather because he served this country. But at the end of the day, Muhammad Ali, he was fighting for more than what people think he was fighting for. I don't think he was afraid to fight. They would have put him. Everybody knows they would have put him in a cushy position like he did Elvis Presley. He wouldn't have been on the front line in the jungle, right. In the bush unless he chose to be there. Right. So it wasn't about being afraid to fight. Right. So going back to Simone Biles, it's all about perspective. It depends on who you talk to. Some people be like, nah, I don't think it does tarnish it. And some people be like, yeah, it does. She refused to go out there and, like you said, the pinnacle of her career and one of the highest stages of performance, and she backed out. So
let me just to maybe clarify your point. Maybe I don't know if this is what you're saying or not, because it entered my mind. Do you think it's because of the pressure of what's the race relations that are going on and everything being so tenuous right now in the United States as far as race relations go, and maybe she's been put under pressure by certain groups to use her platform to either turn away from the flag or kneel to anthem or something. I don't know. And again, we don't know. I think it's very strange that. So now let's caveat this real quick. Don't forget, this bitch fucking won gold while passing a kidney stone. Two Olympics ago, or one Olympics ago? No, 2 Olympics ago, I believe. So she's tough. She's fucking tough. So let's not, I'm not throwing her under the bus by any means.
Right.
I do believe there's more to the story that's being said, because at first I heard injury, then it became not mentally right. Like, I don't know. The whole way it came about was odd and convoluted. So I do think that, some of that may have played a point. But to your point with Muhammad Ali, that Muhammad Ali didn't go for a reason. Like, it was a civil rights. And when people talk about civil rights leaders, I definitely include Muhammad Ali in that for what he did.
Right. And I'm gonna let you finish real quick.
No, go ahead.
Because it really bothers me about what's going on in our country today. A lot of people are trying to compare America today to America of the 60s. There's no comparison.
None.
You have, people out that were actually truly peacefully protesting that were being attacked by dogs. That had water hoses drawn to them. They were physically assaulted.
Yes.
That civil rights movement was a true civil rights movement to be not to be part of as America, but to be part of the people that stood up for what was right. What we're doing with today, not even close. No. Not even close. And I think what it is, people want to have, I guess they want to be a part of something that they feel like is righteous. And if you don't have what's truly righteous, you're going to create something that you feel like is worth fighting for. And I think that's what's happening. So I sorry to cut you off. I'll let you finish. No. But I just want to point it out. This is not the civil rights movement of the 60s.
Right. No, it's not. No, absolutely it's not. And I do believe that, if you're going to represent the United States, going back to the Olympics and some of the protests that happened in the trials, then you need to fucking represent the United States. These people that are representing the United States and then wanting to protest the United States, if you wanted to protest the United States, you should have not went.
Absolutely.
I'm not competing in the Olympics because of, I believe, of there's social prejudice going on in my country that I want to draw attention to.
And you don't have to represent a actual country. You can represent a different country. There's a lot of people that's, I'll look at the profiles of a lot of these athletes, from different countries. I just see you as different countries. And that's quite a few that are born in other countries than what they represent. It's insane for America. That's people from that were born or raised in America that are representing their native
country. Their native countries, yeah.
Or maybe the country they live in now. They might have been born somewhere else and they're representing the U.S. or whatever.
Right.
So you don't have to,
Right.
go represent the West. That's
all they're doing. They want to compete, and they want the accolades, and they want the endorsements, and they want the sponsorships,
right.
and they
right.
want to be social justice warriors. It don't work
Right.
that way.
Right.
And that's
I
one
agree.
of the things that people don't understand about the 60s movement. And I'm no fucking expert. I know I'm not. But as a human being, okay, just reacting as a human being, watching people standing up for what they believe in, being attacked by dogs, getting hit with fire hoses, being just drugged through the streets by police, by the military, for peaceful protesting. What happens is you create sympathy for a cause. You don't create opposition like firebombing police cars, tearing down monuments, destroying private property that's not yours.
Right.
So you're automatically going to get opposition to your cause.
Right.
So that's the reason you're exactly right. This is not the movement of the 60s, and the people that think it is, you're fooling yourself. You're fucking fooling yourself, which I think goes back.
They're drinking the KoolAid.
Sure.
They haven't had that red pill moment, or whatever you want to call it. You have people that are orchestrating it. Kind of, here we go, getting off the rails again. But kind of going back to my conspiracy theory mindset, I believe there was a reason why Dr. Martin Luther King was taken out, and we were left with people like Randy Jackson and Al Sharpton and stuff like that. Because if you look at their track record, they have a terrible track record.
Yeah,
they use their people. Yes.
Right.
So we were left with people like that, and they took out the one who was actually a true social justice warrior.
For sure.
True for the cause. You take out people like that, and I think that was orchestrated. You can say by the government, you can say by Illuminati, or whatever you want to say, but that's kind of part of my conspiracy theory mindset. So I'm kind of getting off the rails a little bit.
No,
it's people that orchestrating this.
I want to go back to something you said a minute ago too. You said that these people, they're looking for something. These people that join these causes are looking for something. Now, this is what I'll say. Like, I live in when I say predominantly white neighborhood, I've never seen. I walk my dog almost every day. I've never seen a black person walking in my neighborhood. So let's call it very predominantly white neighborhood.
Okay.
There's a Black Lives Matter sign in every other yard. Okay. And I always want to ask these people, like, I know a lot of people that support that movement. They want to support the movement. Everybody wants a better life for other people, unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath. Right. A very small percentage of the population. So you want to see, and they're racist too. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying there's not racism. There is,
right. But
they don't understand the organization. But I think everybody can get behind the movement. Now, back to your point of finding meaning, and I think that's a lot of what it is. People are, yet they go to Starbucks and drink their $8 coffee, and they're on their Apple iPhones, but yet someone else is the oppressor. No, you can't be oppressed and oppressor. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you have any type of success, like LeBron James, he's classic. Nah, dude, you have lived a pretty damn good life since you picked up a basketball. You did some oppressing somewhere in your life. Do you see what I'm saying? When you rise to the top, you have oppressed someone somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
You have to keep somebody else down to get where you are.
Exactly.
Right.
It's the hierarchy that we live in.
For every LeBron James and Michael Jordan, there's 1,000 losers who crossed their paths. For lack of a better word, I don't want to say they're losers, but
you can't be
somebody has to be at the bottom for somebody to be at the top.
That's what communists, socialists would say is wrong with democracy. I feel like the left right now, we do these social hierarchies. The distraughtened is the bottom because there's more of us. Okay, people that can solve problems, they have to be raised up in society because society has to have problems solved. So therefore, we're creating a hierarchy, right?
Right.
We value these people because they're solving our fucking problems, or everything crumbles, everything goes to chaos. Okay? Now, as the structure goes up, this is where the left is right. The left is correct, I should say. That creates a tyranny. Hierarchies do lead to tyranny. You got to be careful. You can't keep shitting on the bottom guy because it can't get too big because then that'll cause your hierarchy to tumble.
Right.
Okay. And you know, and I think that's where the radical left really loses sight. You have to have these structures. That's how society functions. The defund the police movement, all that bullshit. You know, it's all about destroying the social structure.
Right.
And society doesn't function that way. We have to have safety first. But
what people fail to realize when it comes to, like, you know, you can throw whatever names you want to throw on a government or whatever, where it's fascist or socialist, communist, capitalist or whatever. They all have their, in my opinion, even a communist society has its pros and cons. But at the end of the day, they all have that, I guess, the hierarchy where you have someone at the top and people at the bottom. And I think on paper, really, communism sounds great on paper. You know, if anybody's ever had the opportunity to study it, it sounds great. It sounds like, you know, that utopia, or no, nobody's poor, nobody's suffering.
Right.
Everything's
the wealth
equal.
Evenly distributed.
But, exactly. But in reality, when you look at every time it's been practiced in history, from Mao Zedong to Stalin,
Venezuela, Cuba.
Yeah, Venezuela, Cuba, all that. It's actually worse when it comes to this disparity. You have the head people in the top in the government or whatever, and you know, they're the ones that get most of the, you know, goods and income or whatever, while you have more people that are left without. There's a lot more of a disparity than in a capitalist society.
Think about business and tech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you ran a tech company like a socialist government, there would never be any innovation. And not even just tech, just anything.
You got to have incentive. There's got to be an incentive for somebody to want to...
Competition and incentive to create innovation.
Absolutely.
And if you watch all these Cuban videos on TikTok, like the Cubans that are here, that had migrated from Cuba to here, they'll tell you, hey, man, it sounds great on paper. It sounds good right here. Motherfucker, I lived it. You do not want this for the United States.
Right.
I mean, there are numerous videos.
Right.
And, you know, and getting back, so we can circle back, I think, now to the Olympics with viewership and all that. You know, if you don't like it here, and I'm not being facetious, I'm not being asshole-ish when I say go the fuck somewhere else. And I'm not even saying go somewhere else and live. Go somewhere else for a year.
And experience it. Experience.
Go to Russia as a black person. Go to Venezuela as a black person. Go to anywhere in Europe as a black person and see how you're treated. You know, it may be fucking great. You may have found the fucking utopia you're looking for. Then you should fucking move there. But I'm telling you, a lot, I don't see people from all these, especially the socialist countries, Mexico, you know, they're all trying to get fucking here. I don't see anybody in a boat trying to get with a Cuban flag trying to get to fucking Cuba from here.
I'm glad you said that. So, man, I can't remember where I even saw this, and I meant to send it to you. I was at work, and I meant to send it to you, and we got fucking sidetracked. But I don't know. I think it was Candace Owens. Maybe it was a clip from Candace Owens. She was talking about how, you know, about, you know, the whole America's so racist and systemic racism and all that. And she was like, someone needs to tell all these migrants who's at the southern border, we need somebody to warn them how racist our country is. Because
don't come
videos, and it's just like, people think, oh, they're all like Latin American. No, There's a lot of people. They're coming from Africa. They're going through the South America to get to the southern border. You see all kind of black faces.
Yeah.
You even see Middle Eastern faces.
Yeah.
Latinos, whatever. And I'm like, for a country that's so systemically racist and so bad, there are an awful lot of brown and black people trying to get over here. And it just shows you. It just shows you how much bullshit is being fed to everybody.
Bullshit. It's bullshit. And
right.
when our White House press secretary comes out and says the message to the Cuban refugees trying to get over here, don't come.
Yep.
Hold on a minute.
Yep.
We're letting thousands over every fucking day.
Yep.
But we're telling these people they're coming from a communist country to not come. If you needed any more than that, I don't know what to tell you.
Not to mention, we have a general. I'm not sure you keep up with this. There's a general, and I can't remember his name. I can look it up. We can talk about another time if you want. But there's a general who's getting on troops and everything. And see this is why I really believe the top levels of our government has been infiltrated. Because again, we and I've had discussion. Divide and conquer, destroy from within, right?
Yes.
You can take down a whole country and never have to fire a single shot.
That's it.
And I feel like, it's almost like that. Have you ever seen the movie Salt with Angelina Jolie? Yeah. So how in that movie, you had was it Lee Schreiber? Was that his name? Yeah, they kind of found out, this guy was one of the one of the Russian operatives. You have people with high levels you never would think of. Right. Who are actually working for the enemy, who are part of the enemy. They're just infiltrated. Mm-hmm. And you have, like you said, people in our own government, when you have, military generals who are getting on this bandwagon, I guess they get on the bandwagon, probably been part of the bandwagon the entire time, but, they're trying to enforce certain policies that really go against American cause. That should be a big red flag
for sure
for any person with common sense.
Right.
And it still blows my mind that there are so many people that are still that naive and brainwashed. I don't understand it.
I don't get it. Real quick, I want to get to some of the comments. So, Sedlock One said, I think Simone what she did was completely selfish for her team. She's been saying that the weight of the world was on her shoulders, and it's been known many gymnastics do doubt themselves mentally. She pulled out for the sake of her team so they could get a medal. And that's fine. That's I'm not saying that she did the wrong thing. I don't think. I know Phil said that he agrees with her decision. I'm just saying when you go talking about the great athletes, the legends. I'm not talking about so and so. So let me. And I wrote this down. I need to say this. One of the greatest Olympic moments of all time of any Olympics belongs to an American. And when I say her name, I don't give a shit how old you are. You've seen it. Mary Lou Retton. Mary Lou Retton had one of the greatest moments in Olympic history. She damn near broke her fucking leg. She had one more chance to bring home the gold. And the world was watching her on the vault. And she stuck that motherfucker on a broken leg. I think she broke her ankle or tib fib or something. I mean, won gold for her country and became a motherfucking legend. Was she ever as talented as Simone? No. No one. I don't know if we've ever seen a female gymnast that ever was. Maybe even a male gymnast that was as athletically gifted as she is. She's kind of like the Michael Jordan of female gymnastics. Maybe gymnastics, period. Not even to put a gender on it. Okay? But Mary Lou Retton could have easily bowed out in that moment. No one would have ever blamed her. No one would have ever remembered her name either. So,
absolutely.
Hey, be selfless. That's great. No one will remember your name. She's not going to go in the record books because she was selfless. And no one will ever remember that. They're just going to remember, hey, remember when she pulled out Olympics because she mentally wasn't ready? You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's how she'll be remembered in the annals of the Olympics. And Dave Ferris said...
And it's very I was like, go ahead. Was great.
So
Say something.
Dave Fair said people watch the Olympics to cheer on a champion that makes them proud of their country, not to be reminded of daily bullshit you can't get away from. That's a good point too. And I think that can be said for Hollywood. I think it can be said for Grammys. I think it can be said for all the entertainment industry. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a big comic book fan. Like, I used to do a comic book podcast for a long fucking time. And I was reminded almost on a weekly basis of how liberal and radically liberal the comic industry is. There was incredible writers and artists that were taking to Twitter and Facebook talking about how they couldn't get jobs because they were associated with the right.
Mm-hmm.
And it took the taste out of my mouth for something that I've loved my entire life. I still love it, but I don't get into artists and creators and writers like I used to and want to meet them and all that other shit. I used to go to conventions all the time. These people, we don't have a lot we agree on. You know what I mean?
There's something that's going on right now. And it's been going on for, I would say, the better part, probably 2 years now, if not longer. And I'm seeing a lot of comparisons with now and a lot of stuff that happened during the height of the Cold War. And people are getting blacklisted. You know, we call it cancel culture now,
right?
But people are getting blacklisted. And I love history. I'm a very big fan of history. And anybody knows anything about the Cold War and the entertainment industry and anything like that, it was on the opposite end of the spectrum though. It was the conservatives, or whatever you want to call it, that were blacklisting people that were communist thinkers. But now it's on the other end of the spectrum. It's the communist leading thinkers I'm going to use communism. People might use socialism, whatever you want to call it. They're the same thing to me. But it's the leftists that are blacklisting the other side now. And there's a common phrase, I'm sure you've heard it, and I'm seeing it. I feel like I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the birth of it now in our country, of the oppressed becoming the oppressors. And I feel like that's something that's really developing, that's taking steam. I'm hoping it dies away. I'm hoping enough people wake up and realize what's going on and, fall off that bandwagon. But I feel like the whole racism thing and the whole race thing, you have people that are out here doing heinous things and they can scream out racism, with no validity whatsoever. Mm-hmm. You got people that can go and commit crimes and say, "Oh, you're racist if you arrest me." You have politicians like Lightfoot up in Chicago who are refusing to give interviews to white reporters.
Yeah, how's that not racist?
How's it not racist? Racism goes different ways. So I feel like, again, it's we're seeing something develop that's really ugly and nasty. Where how can you claim to be better in a group of people or organization when you begin to act exactly like that particular group or people that you claim to be better than? And that's what bothers me. So kind of going back to the host, I want to say this before I forget. The last comment somebody made, I didn't catch the name, about Simone Biles, and people watched up to escape, and I completely agree with that. Now, to piggyback off of that, you made a comment earlier about Simone Biles and is she coming down with pressure from the outside, from the left, from BLM or Antifa or whatever, saying she has to use her profile to bring like this social justice warrior image or whatever. And I don't know. I believe that may be a very big possibility. But kind of piggybacking off of what he said, I agree. People watch certain things to escape. And someone in her position, there's no doubt in my mind, and I'm not saying this is the cause of her mental issue, but there's no doubt in my mind she's receiving tremendous pressure in her position. And coming from my position, someone who I tell you all the time, I get into constant heated debates and arguments with people when I try to explain things to them. And I've lost friends. I got family members that I won't talk to, or they won't talk to me or whatever. Sure. And it's extremely, not only is it upsetting, it's depressing. It begins to get depressing. Absolutely. You kind of lose, using myself as an example, you lose faith. I want to leave Louisville I told my wife, I
Yes.
when I first got on the fire department, I was like, I probably want to do 20, I don't know. When I had 12 years already vested in the system, I was like, I want to do at least 12 more.
Right.
Now I'm like, as soon as I reach my 20, I'm ready to get the fuck out. I got to get out of Louisville,
Right.
and, move somewhere that's more forward thinking. And
Sure.
I'm like, it's depressing. I hate being here, and I love my city.
I did. Yeah.
But
me too,
I'm done to hate being here because of what it's become.
Sure.
And people are doing really fucked up shit in the name of so-called good causes that aren't good. Nobody wants to make the tough decision. We got bums all over our fucking city. Not homeless. To me, it's the difference between bums and homeless.
Sure.
Homeless person is someone who's falling on hard times. They need help getting back up. A bum is somebody who doesn't want to improve their lifestyle. They want to lay out and do drugs, alcohol, and just be a fucking a leech on society. And we have them everywhere, and everybody's like, these people are going through issues, this and that, and they need help, blah, blah, blah. These people don't want to help themselves.
Right.
And it's like that police chief up in Washington, D.C. said about the criminals.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to call the criminals. Everybody, there's a reason why this criminal did. They need, they don't need to be locked up. They need X, Y, Z. They need, they need hugs and food and blah, blah, blah. He said it point blank. These people don't want to be called. They want to be criminals. They want to go out here and do bad things to people. They need punishment, not coddling. And, everybody wants to try to use this, I get it. Nobody wants to be nasty to people. You don't want to see people get treated a certain way. But at the end of the day, people must be governed. I know it sounds bad. It sounds draconian, whatever you want to call it, but people must be governed. If you allow people to just act a certain way, society will collapse.
When Maslow's needs theory, his needs tree, the first thing society needs is safety and security.
Right.
It's the only way you have civilization.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, it's at the top. It's at the top
I agree.
of everything. You don't need doctors. You don't need educators. You don't need a lot of shit. You don't need teachers. You don't need any of those. You need safety first. Then everything else comes. Now, we don't have doctors. Yeah, it's going to suck. We don't have teachers. Oh, man, everybody's going to be dumb as fuck. But you have to have safety. You can't have commerce without safety. That's the reason, like, you and I have seen it in our own city. Businesses have left. They're gone. They won't reopen. They cut bait, and, like, if they could get out with their head above water, they did. It took Jerry Abramson 20-something years to get people feeling safe to spend their money in downtown Louisville. I don't know if they'll ever feel safe again.
Right.
Now, with reopenings of things, I have seen a resurgence in people going downtown and stuff, which is good. I don't want Louisville to become Detroit. I don't want that. I don't want it to become Minneapolis. But, there is a point of no return for things. And, maybe we're not there. Maybe we are. I don't know yet. But, what you said earlier, people need to find something. And I guess everybody wants to be good and woke, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Being woke is the new thing. Like, and if you're not woke, you're a racist.
Right.
You're a Trump supporter. You're a conservative.
Yes. You
know what I mean? And it's like, okay, I may be a Trump supporter. I may be a conservative. Doesn't mean I'm a fucking racist. So I need to say this too, for full transparency. And I have to tell myself this all the time. Because you're pro-black, and when I mean pro-black is like you're proud to be black. Goddamn, you should be fucking proud to be black.
Right.
Doesn't make you a racist. It doesn't make you a Black Panther. It doesn't make you Antifa. It doesn't make you anti-white. You know what I mean? And I'm proud to be white. It doesn't mean I'm anti-black. It's lunacy and psychotic in a lot of ways if you think about it to be that way. Right. And if people if people took stock of themselves, like, hey man, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm not going to go Molotov a cop car. I'm going to go try to make myself a better human being. I'm going to join a gym. I'm going to try to learn a foreign language. I'm going to try to do a real good job at work because there's a promotion coming up and I'm sick of making minimum wage. And that's another thing. People want to talk about raising minimum wage. Minimum wage was not meant for you to fucking live on.
Right.
It was meant to be a starting point. There has to be a starting point somewhere.
Right.
It's the only way to incentivize you to climb up that fucking hierarchy, right?
Thank you.
So, you know, if people just took more stock in themselves, it's like Jordan Peterson. You know, like, I feel like he's been compared to Hitler, the Red Skull, which is, you know, the Marvel Comics equivalent of fucking Adolf Hitler.
Right.
And, like, just listening to this guy, that's all he wants from you is for you to take the people you admire. You think about the people you admire most in your life. Think about, like, if you're listening at home or you're listening in your car, think about right now someone you admire. It doesn't have to be a fucking famous person. It could be a dude in your neighborhood. It could be a dude that your kid plays basketball with. It could be somebody at your church. Think about them people for just a second. Why do you ask yourself why you admire them?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's because you see something in them that you wish you had. Maybe it's a great relationship, and Jordan Pierce talks about that. Taking stock in your relationships.
Yep.
Go be physically fit because no one's gonna respect you if you don't respect yourself.
Absolutely.
Be physically fit. Take stock in your relationships. Take stock in your community. These are the people that take on a lot of responsibility. These are the people that we admire the most. And I don't see, like look at Martin Luther King. You know, like, he's definitely one of those people. Like, he stood for something.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. No one is sticking out in this movement, this woke movement. Like, who are the people? Like, who are its spokespeople? You know,
I feel like
is it Jam Master Jay? Is it Jam? You know, I feel like, I mean,
about the in fact not fucking around coalition.
Yeah.
That guy, that character.
Yeah, that nut job. You know,
like I love using Martin Luther King because when you actually look at what he stood for, if anybody who's following, most of us have some general knowledge of at least his speeches, what he stood for. He wasn't trying to take down the government. He wasn't trying to take down the police. He wasn't trying to say black people are better than white people. What's that?
He wasn't trying to burn the flag. I mean,
he wasn't trying to be anti-American.
Right.
He wanted people to treat each other the way they want to be treated. He wanted people to stop looking at race. And he says in his most famous speech, he wants people to be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And you look at now with this whole woke movement, critical race theory, prime example. It's complete opposite. Judge everything by race. It's like, and if you notice, there's not a lot of talk about MLK and the civil rights movement, unless they're saying it's the new civil rights movements, but there's not a lot of talk about like what MLK stood for when you look at these organizations, because they can't really piggyback.
They can't apply it.
Exactly. So now it's like, you know, it's all about, you know, taking down something.
That's not to cut you off, but like the slogan, "No justice, no peace," which we heard here in Louisville. You know about,
but who's justice? That's my thing. Right. You know, they use that "no justice, no peace," but when you look at the justice term they use, is their justice. They want you to give the verdict they want. If it's not that, that's not the justice they're looking for. So it's not gonna be any peace. So it's all about intimidation. That's intimidation.
Right. That's all.
You don't do what we want you to do. It's gonna be consequences.
Well, and I mean, and I want to get to this and just real quick. Okay, I'm gonna circle this so we come back to it. Dave said Nashville thrives. Like Dave Fair just went to Nashville, him and his wife a few weeks ago, and he sent me pictures. And you should have seen the people in the downtown. I mean, it was ridiculous. 5:30 in the afternoon. This wasn't 9 o'clock at night. It was 5:30 in the afternoon. It looked like Mardi Gras in Nashville. Mm-hmm. And he said they had a huge, massive police presence. And he said every police officer he's seen was talking to people, smiling. One was dancing. One was messing with a kid. Like, and hey, let's be honest, cops. You got to straighten your shit up too. Like, you're not above reproach here in this whole conversation.
Right.
And maybe the police have been in for a reality check for a long time. Okay. So,
right.
You know, hey, I back the fucking Blues, so don't get it twisted. But
I know exactly what you get. Accountability. And everybody should be held accountable for their actions. It don't matter what your profession is, what your skin color is, what your gender is. Right. That's another big one that's being used as a weapon too, is sexism and stuff.
Yes.
You know, what your religious preference, none of that should matter. You know, if you do something bad, you should be held accountable. You know, but you got people who are using their race and their gender or lack thereof gender, whether you non-binary, whatever the fuck they want to call it now. It's all being used it's all been weaponized. You know, that was kind of one of the things, and I ain't gonna have time to really touch on it because I'm gonna have to leave her soon. But it's one of the things we can talk about next time is how race has been weaponized. Racism has been turned into a weapon. And I kind of want to, I know you and I touched on it. I was like, I want to talk about like the history of Democrats and their use of race, you know, in their platform, going back to like, you know, even before civil rights, you know, back to Civil War era,
right?
You know, and I want to talk about that next time. But one thing that I want to hit on before I get out was talking about, you know, I kind of got off subject with Simone Biles thing and how, you know, she's on a lot of mental pressure and the possibility that she's pressured by outside sources. As a Black person, you know, I know a lot of Black people can't really see from our perspective, but as a Black person who has grown up in the projects, who has grown up on welfare, right, who has lived with a drug addicted parent, who has dealt with quite a few things, and I know she's dealt with some stuff. You know, people are telling you how to think, and if you don't think that way, you're no longer part of that group. And I kind of feel like it's happening. And I, if that's the case with her, I totally get her position even more. I sympathize with her even more if that's the case. You know, and people may disagree with that, but listen to me. Coming as a Black person, you don't want to go against your people. You know, I love being Black. I love my people. Sure. There's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot of things of Black people's history that I feel like we as a group don't even appreciate. We don't know many of the players in American history from our own race. A lot of us don't. Really don't. A lot of us, I guarantee there's a lot of kids right now that are in high school and probably college that couldn't tell you who Frederick Douglass is.
Right.
You know?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know, they couldn't tell you about these people who they might be able to tell you about Rosa Parks or something, but they can't tell you who Frederick Douglass is. They can't tell you the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. Right. You know, they can't tell you
story, by the way.
Yes, absolutely phenomenal story.
Phenomenal.
You know,
see, so I want to get this in real quick because I had a conversation with a teacher about this. We're talking about critical race theory, and I'm like, you know, I mean, there's so like if you want to emphasize like positive Black stories in school and in history, there are so many good ones that a lot of Black kids, white kids don't know about. The Tuskegee Airmen, you know, which is another fucking great fucking story. You know, like I don't understand why it's, and this is what eventually is going to push people away, all people away, is the force feeding. Of it. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad you said that because what I was gonna, and I'm trying to get long-winded. What I was gonna get at is, and I'm gonna send this video to you too. Okay. I meant to send to you. There's a video I saw, and it's coming. The sad part is a lot of it's just being orchestrated by white people. Like Antifa, you look at the organization; it's mostly white. Yeah. There was a protest that was being held. Not I'm gonna say a protest, more like maybe I would say protest, a rally, whatever that's been held. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Oakland, California. by a group of black people who were protesting the gun violence in their neighborhood. They're, protesting, all these people probably lost kids, uncles, dads, whatever. You had a group of Antifa members that tried to stronghold their protest and tell them you need to be protesting against the police. Now, black people need to see that. Black people, no, this is something that wasn't shown on the national media. But black people need to see that these people from the outside who are probably fucking sleeper agents for fucking Russia or something, I try and tell black people, you need to think this way. You're thinking the wrong way.
Right.
And, these black people, hands go, clap for them. I'm seeing the video. They told them to get the fuck out of here. They told these motherfuckers, this is our fucking protest. We live in this shit. We fucking deal with it. We losing loved ones to black on black crime and gun violence. Fuck out of here. And that I commend them more because they didn't resort to violence. They got pissed off. They didn't resort to violence, but they should have fucking punched every single one of them in their fucking jaw and told them to get the fuck out of their asses kicked. But I'm gonna send you the video. I'm gonna talk a bit on it more next time. But what I'm saying is, this stuff, black people be free thinkers. I don't know if there's any black people watching. I hope there are. But we need to be free thinkers. Stop letting the media tell you how to think. Stop letting shady government officials tell you how you're supposed to think. Stop looking at the history that certain organizations want you to see and do your own digging. Do your own research.
It's out there.
Because I'm gonna tell you, that's what happened to me. I was one of these fucking stupid libertarians. I grew up in I grew up in the projects, and everybody in the project thinks Democrats are the greatest.
Sure.
You gotta vote Democrat, you can't vote Republican, blah, blah, blah. Right. I grew up I had arguments for that side thinking they was racist, but guess what? I had no fucking facts to back my argument up because I ain't no shit. Right. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and look up some stuff. Let me find out how I'm gonna get my fucking ammo going, and it backfired. And that's why I think the way I think today, because I learned so much shit. And it completely twisted me and turned me around.
The Republican Party is the civil rights party.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think it's hilarious.
That's why I want to hit on next time.
Okay.
And talk about the weaponized racism, because people further realize that it was the Democratic Party that created the KKK.
That's right.
It was the party that tried to suppress black people's voter rights. It was the Democratic Party that, like in the early 1900s, that was orchestrating the destruction of prominent black neighborhoods and businesses across the country. Mm-hmm. So when people talk about systemic racism that the Democratic Party likes to keep bringing up, they never talk about how it was their party that did a lot of oppressive stuff.
The Jim Crow laws.
Here's what I think. I agree. I disagree with the whole systemic racism now, but I think that the history of the racism in this country, yes, it has held us back, and we are still trying to overcome that.
For sure.
But look at your own party. Your party is the one who set that shit in motion to put us in the position we are now.
That's right.
They never talk about that. They brushed it on the rug, and they are experts at smoke screens.
Oh my God.
And they are experts at flipping the table saying, you're the one, not me, it was you.
Well, just like this last thing that the Democrats try to do by blaming defund the police on the Republican Party.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
What? It lasted 3 days in a news cycle because no one was buying that shit.
Yes. Can you get ready, please? Yeah. Thank you. Yes. And I'm like, anybody with any common sense that's keeping up with this stuff, I would like to hope that actually, I'm not gonna say I hope, I know that there are a lot of black people, especially black people that are still living in, lower income areas and, like here in Louisville, like in Russell neighborhood and Shawnee and all that. Yeah. They're starting to open their eyes. But the problem is nobody's listening to these people. There are a lot of black people across the country. I keep up with a lot of stuff in Baltimore, like with Kim Klacik. I'm not sure if you remember Kim Klacik. Yeah. And I remember they were doing interviews with these people that live in these run down neighborhoods. And that's how we don't want to fund the police. It's the police that makes it where we can actually live here and not have to worry about, being murdered every day and all that. They tell me I've lost. I was one guy I saw, he said he's lost like 2 kids or something to black on black gun violence. He was like, it's not the police I'm worried about. It's our own people, So, but nobody's listening to these people. You know,
that's
it,
sad. Yeah.
yeah, and and unfortunately, I feel like this party has a stronghold on the large platforms that are getting information out. So they're only getting information out, the propaganda
For sure.
that they want people to listen to.
For sure.
But I tell people all the time, I even tell my own wife, you may not agree on everything, especially when it comes to politics. She don't really care about politics. But I tell her, do your own research. I'm going to have more respect for your position, even if I don't agree with it.
Right.
If you do your own research and come at me with valid facts,
facts.
then you just come at me with like emotions and conjecture.
When I argue with my Democratic friends, that's where the conversation breaks down. Is
Absolutely.
When I give them facts.
Absolutely.
And you know what I get? I get conjecture or Trump.
Yeah.
That's what I get.
Or you get like a lot of emotions. Like with me, especially one of the more recent ones I had, there was one chick, she wasn't one of my family, she happened to be there, and she was getting mad. What you mean taking this way? What you mean? I mean, she was getting, I thought for a second I might have to get up and defend myself. She was getting that, and it was all emotion. I'm like, you gotta stop thinking with your emotion. That's the problem.
That's everybody's first choice of currency nowadays.
Right.
Right. And I'm an emotional person, and it's really hard for me to dial that down, especially when it's something I really believe in. I know to get my point across, I have to be. You know what I mean? And that's right. Like I said, the movement, the BLM movement, all that, they didn't have a spokesperson. They didn't have a Martin Luther King that could articulate an idea and get it calmly. Like, everybody's heard Martin Luther King talk. He was an amazing orator. He could speak. He was fantastic at that. And you listened to what he said. He wasn't screaming at you. A building wasn't burning behind him when he was saying it, and it resonated. And that's how human beings converse, and that's how human beings get ideas shared.
And he didn't preach division.
What's that?
You look at a lot of stuff that's been talking about, like now with these groups like BLM, Antifa, a lot of what they stand for is actually division. They don't want to unite the country. They're working
Marxists.
To divide the country. They're trying to. Marxists, they even said it.
The leaders of BLM said that. They're trained Marxists.
Yes.
And Marxists want to destroy the structure to put in their own. And then what happens in a Marxist society, they discard the people that got them there because they're anarchists. Like they're chaos. They're about chaos. The Marxists have an idea.
Before I go, I'm glad you said that. There's a documentary on Netflix. It's called I think it's called How to Become a Tyrant.
Okay.
It's great because Peter Dinklage actually is the one that narrates it, which I love that guy. I love that guy. Yeah, but it's really good. I'm telling you, watch it. And they talk about exactly what you talk about, like Joseph Stalin, what was it, Idi Amin, and they talk about like a lot of these dictators in like modern history,
right?
And what they've done, and leading up to the Kim dynasty. And so we can talk about that next time if you want to too, because they talk about a lot of really good stuff, and it talks about the very thing. They got rid of a lot of people that were by their side. They helped them get there,
right?
And it's funny because it was all the communists that did it, and it was even the fascists because Hitler did the same exact thing.
They did the same thing. They did the same thing. Cuban Castro did the same thing.
Castro, yep.
You're breaking up, Phil.
That's something you should watch. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. But I'm going to get off of here because I got to drive. Man. But we're going to catch up next time. We got a lot to talk about.
You got it. All right. All right. I'm glad that we got to get Phil on here again today. Phil's got some great ideas. So I want to get back to the chat real quick. So we got to get Phil in here where he can stay longer. So Mike Harshfield says, why can't white history and black history be taught in history class? Both should be in discussion. Absolutely, it should. And I don't know where a lot of this stuff comes from because we were taught in my school, a predominantly white school, about the rise of the KKK, about the fall of the KKK, about the re-rise, the rebirth of the KKK. We talked about a lot of that stuff. So, we watched Glory, which if you've never seen Glory with Denzel Washington in the Civil War, it's fucking amazing. It's fantastic. It's such a great movie. Was my high school woke back in fucking the late 80s? No, it wasn't. It was just teachers trying to give you both sides of a story and you decide. Like, I don't know. I don't understand it, to be 1,000% honest. I really, really want, I try. I mean, I really do try. And that was something that, again, I feel like these movements are really lacking. I don't want to say a mouthpiece, but a spokesperson, someone that you can rally behind. Now, say what you want. I'm going to lose a lot of people here, but it's true. Is Donald Trump. Like him or hate him, he is speaking for a lot of people. Now, where they lose sight of that is, I don't feel like Donald Trump can give an intelligent argument on why things should be more conservative or more right-winged, or, you know what I mean? Like, he can't do that. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of him running again in 24. I know a lot of people are fucking throwing shit at their monitor right now. I'm sorry. I feel like the only way we get back on track is finding someone that can reach across the aisle and get shit done with the left. Now, the left, you're going to have to fucking come way back, dude. You're as far left as the fucking world will handle right now, and in some areas it ain't being handled very well. So we've got to find someone, and I had a conversation with a guy the other day. It said, man, I think we're past that. Well, if we are, then we're fucked. We're fucked if we're past that. I don't think we are. I do think human beings are still good for the most part. There's a very small percentage, guys, of psychopaths and sociopaths in our population. And that's worldwide, not even the United States. There's a very small part of Nazis in KKK. Like, I have a friend that keeps saying, there was a Nazi in the Capitol building on January 6th. Wow. Considering how many Nazis are in the world, that's fucking incredible. Like, lightning's going to strike you first. Okay? So, I mean, I get it. There's a lot of bad people that were probably in the Capitol building that day. I wanted to see where he was going. So, all right, I thought I said this in the beginning, but I don't think I did. Phil takes his son to karate class. So that's where we tried to start at 5:30. He had some issues with his laptop. He had to use his phone. So we were a little late getting on, but he cuts as close as he can. As you can see, he's walking to his vehicle and still being on camera. Phil loves this shit, man, and I love having him on. I love his perspective, especially, like I can't talk from the black community. You know what I mean? Because I'm not black. I mean, it's kind of silly, but he can, and he does so well. And Phil is very researched and intelligent, as all you guys can see. So I love having him on, having his perspective on. But so what I want to end the show with, guys, is, if everybody takes stock of themselves, there's a lot of these problems that go away. A lot of your own problems go away personally. And I don't say this because I love to work out and be physically fit, but that's one of the first things you should do, because a lot of people aren't going to respect you, and if they feel like you don't respect yourself. Your outward appearance to people is very important, and that's not being shallow, that's not being egotistical, that's not being narcissistic. It's if someone sees someone that takes care of themselves, there's an instant admiration there. And maybe even go the other way and like promote jealousy, but that's on that individual. How you project yourself is very, very important. Okay, so doing that is job number one, I feel like. And then cultivating your relationships, friends, family, spouse, brother, sister, mom, dad. Like how you react. You may have some issues with family. Okay, those are going to drag you down. We've got to find meaning in our life somewhere, and it can come from family, and then in your community. And if you're starting to feel better, look better, be in better shape, have your health, which if anything has taught us in this last 18 months is most vital, is our health and the physical condition you are in when a virus attacks you. The mask, guys, the mask ain't gonna fucking help you. The mask is not gonna fucking slow the spread, cut down, and fuck all that. Okay, your health is your first protection. It ain't a goddamn mask that if I stretch it across my face, my beard would stick out of it. It's lunacy. Okay, so use your head here. And then you're going to be a value add to your community or to whatever group you're in. You know what I mean? So a lot of this stuff I feel goes away. I do still feel like it is a very, very small sect of our population that has the loudest voice right now. Okay. And I feel like the more and more things are pushed on us, more and more people are pressured, especially with these new mask mandates. That was on my notes to talk about tonight. We didn't get a chance to, but I was vaccinated. Now I got to wear a mask. There's a less than 1% chance I could even spread the virus because I'm vaccinated. Maybe if someone sticks their finger in my nose and then sticks it in their mouth, they're going to get it. There's a higher chance, higher probability, because apparently, that's where we carry the virus mostly is in our nose and our mouth. And then they're wanting to get people that aren't vaxxed, but you still have to wear a mask. It's lunacy. It's idiotic. There's critical thinking, rational thinking, common sense is fucking left the building, and we need to bring that shit back, man. We need to get back. Now, as far as the Simone deal goes, I know we talked about it earlier. Hey, she can do what she wants, man. Like, and if she feels like her health's in danger, then fucking absolutely. I mean, if I was about to jump out of a plane and I didn't feel like I was mentally ready, I probably shouldn't jump out of that fucking plane. And the old adage is, especially being an athlete, if you think you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. Like, you can't, no one goes into a fight, no one goes into a battle, no one goes into a physical event like a football game or anything like that thinking scared, concerned that you're going to be injured, because that is a surefire strategy to get hurt or injured. Now, again, I do feel like these people that are really kicking her while she's down kind of deal, I think they do have an argument as far as what legacy she leaves. I hate that for her. I hate that. And I do feel like when the whole story comes out, I feel like that she had pressure to do things in the name of social justice that either she didn't believe in or she felt like was going to be contradictory to her representing the United States. And I mean, maybe bowing out because of a mental issue or whatever is the best course of action. It sucks for the United States. It sucks for her. It sucks for everybody that likes watching her perform, because she's fucking amazing. I don't watch women's gymnastics. I do if it's on, but I was definitely going to watch when she performed, because she's one of those once in a lifetime talents, but hey guys, thank you for showing up. Thank you for everybody joining the chat. I know this early time is kind of weird, and I know I've already gotten some hate messages from people like, what the fuck, man, 5:30? I don't get off till 5:30. And so I'm gonna get with Phil. Josh is hopefully coming back, guys. I really hope he is. Like I said, he's been dealing with some stuff, but I think he wants to come back, and of course we'd love to have him again. But if there's an issue or a topic that you would like Phil and I or Josh and Phil and I to discuss. Please drop me a line. Let me know. Instant message me, email me, or whatever, and we'll discuss it. I'll give you a shout out on the air, and we'll discuss your topic. And you can get, two dumbass white guys' opinions and a very smart black guy's opinion on it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Always appreciate the feedback, negative or positive. It's always great to have. If there's something you'd like to see on the show that we're not doing, would love to hear that feedback as well. But guys, thank you. Have a great rest of your week. The Olympics are on. I know it's we didn't really even get into that. The viewership drop. I know a lot of people are kind of disenfranchised with the Olympics right now because of all the stuff that was going on early. But there's a lot of athletes that are proud Americans to be competing, and we need to be there for them and root them on. And like the two Kentuckians that brought home gold this week. So fucking fantastic. There's going to be a lot. There's always great overcoming adversity stories in the Olympic Games. So please, guys, we need to support our fellow Americans in their journey and wish them well. So, guys, thank you so much again. If you have not left a 5-star review on iTunes, we'd be greatly appreciated. You can find the audio versions on Anchor, iTunes, and the playback will be on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. With that, guys, have a great rest of your week, and remember,